Are you guys sitting down for this People exclusive? Inside Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's growing pains in showbiz. Hollywood loves a comeback. And they say I'm biased. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor, and this article was hysterical for me. I saw that People magazine, which is definitely the higher caliber of gossip mags is here in the States. They put a cover story out with exclusive insight on Meghan and Harry. And I'm sorry, I firmly believe, we've proved it with Jada Pinkett Smith and others, when sources report to People and they go exclusive, usually that means it's the People themselves reporting it. So I want you to see how Meghan and Harry are painting the story, because the most egregious thing in here is the fact that they blame Spotify for their firing. Oh my God, this just will go and show why we have so much problems with their delusion, and how People and other outlets are just protecting them and putting out this puff piece, which doesn't really get to the core of the issues of why so many people are frustrated with them. So let's break this down. Duke and Duchess were given no formal lay of the land to kick things off, says a source close to Archetype's production. What? All right, let's teasing. Let's get to it. Meghan and Harry are coming off a record-breaking Netflix series, a hit podcast, that's debatable, and a best-selling book. Doesn't mean it's good. Yet finding solid footing in Hollywood remains an ongoing challenge. Look how positive they're trying to spin all these failures. In June, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. No mention of how the Netflix series actually was very divided and really ruffled feathers. No. Record-breaking hit, best-selling. In June, the Duke and Duchess mutually agreed to part ways with Spotify. Lie. After delivering one podcast. I'm glad they did at least admit that. They delivered one podcast. Very important to make that clear. For $20 million. With executive Bill Simmons publicly criticizing the couple shortly after the announcement. They're not going to tell you that quote, but they're going to at least say, yes, he did criticize them. Later that month, the Wall Street Journal took a critical look at their production company's Netflix output. That deal is worth $100 million. Yeah, that sure did. Everyone's pointing the spotlight on them being idiots. In July, the entertainment industry itself was rocked by a historic writers and actors strike that has nothing to do with the years previous that they've had for Netflix. But nice spin here. Do you notice how they're using the writer's strike from July as if that has anything to do with their Netflix output? Joe Quinniquaga, a senior media strategist, tells People this week's cover story, the headlines reflect a serious growing pains for the couple's nascent Archwell brand. That's one way to put it. But for Harry and Meghan, who turns 42 on Friday, just a reminder, we will be having a party here on Popcorn Planet, or actually it'll be on Popcorn Palace. We are going to do a Meghan Markle birthday bash. That's right. Join us, I believe 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is what I'm aiming for. From 11 to 1 Eastern Standard Time, we'll be throwing a big birthday bash. So stay tuned. I'll put the link down below. You're not going to miss it. Yes, we're going to celebrate Meghan's birthday only the way Popcorn Palace can, with a lot of guest surprises. So don't miss that one out. But anyway, here we go. So there wasn't necessarily a 5-year plan, as one royal insider puts it. When they left the UK, the couple stepped back as working members of the royal family in 2020 and moved to Meghan's home state of California, telling Oprah the decision was life or death. Terrified that his wife would suffer the same fate as his mother, Princess Diana. Again, gotta ring that one again. Oh, she's gonna be like Diana. She's so much like Diana. Prince Harry said the Netflix docuseries, I don't want history to repeat itself. So you want to create all this press and negative attention? Why then? Why don't you just go away from the limelight? All right, because you guys can. You're narcissists. Royal life wasn't a world they wanted for their family. But, celebrity life, they're cool with that. Royal life, not so much. Noting that their choices reflect that everything else flows from that, whatever the time period it takes. We want to be famous, but not for being royals. And we don't want to do anything royal. We just want to be famous and be rich. The pair signed deals with Netflix and Spotify shortly after the transatlantic move, but production has moved slowly in the 3 years since, as Hollywood has navigated COVID and studios subsequently tightened their belts. Or maybe just their content sucks. Nice excuses here. And they released a docuseries that was super salacious. The royal element, and in some ways the drama around them, inflated the price, deals, and expectations, says top insider. The royal element, the salacious drama around them, inflated things. While Prince Harry's book and their Netflix show offered a glimpse behind the palace walls like never before. That's one way to put it. So far, it seems that Harry and Meghan's projects without a royal component have struggled to capture the public's attention. That's truth. Now that's truth. They're Netflix, and that's what they don't want to be. So therein lies the rub. Their Netflix docuseries Live to Lead debuted to indifference. I think that's being generous. And an animated project they were developing called Pearl about a girl inspired by female leaders was quietly dropped last year. Some experts say it had nothing to do with any of the other reasons. It was just bad. Nobody wanted to watch it. Some experts say Harry and Meghan are being held to a higher standard than others. Maybe they should. Why are they even getting these deals in the first place? Of course they should be held to a higher standard. They have no track record that would give them otherwise. Very few other production companies are measured by what's actually hit the airwaves. Since when? Says a source close to the couple, noting there are plenty of things that are in different phases under the shingle. Sure. Meanwhile, a source close to Archetypes production, Meghan and Harry, says the couple was not set up for success on Spotify. They were given no formal lay of the land to kick things off. So they were already on unsteady footing even before the ink was dry. Meanwhile, they like to say how big of a hit the show was. Right out the gate, big hit. But then suddenly they realized, oh, podcasts are hard. Content's hard. Oh, Taylor Swift doesn't want to talk to us. Spotify, what do we do? Allegedly, again, Meghan had access to higher ups and would constantly call them complaining that their own producers weren't doing what they wanted. So they weren't even listening to the producers they had on, but now it's Spotify's fault. They were given no formal lay of the land to kick things off. Oh, Spotify must be rolling their eyes so hard and so grateful that they kicked them to the curb. Though Archwell Audio produced just 12 episodes of Archetypes for Spotify, the source noted they have a lot of ideas and did pitch them, but said there was too much red tape between Spotify and the Sussexes. Things moved very slowly on both ends. Both ends. Yeah, because they suck too. Nice spin here. Harry had multiple ideas. They were trying to give him a podcast. He refused. They didn't want to do it. They just wanted the money. People. No wonder they're under pressure. As for what's next, the couple remain focused on their Archwell Foundation, which has dedicated considerable resources to youth, mental health, and online safety and the intersection of social justice and technology. Oh, I cannot wait for them to be the ones at the forefront of social justice and technology. There's no one I can think of better than Harry and Meghan to know how to handle that. Meghan recently signed with Power Agency, William Morris Endeavor, who I bet you had a very big hand in this article. While Harry's Netflix series, Heart of Invictus, about his competition for veterans and military service personnel, is coming soon, along with this year's Invictus Games. So Harry's going to ring those veterans, isn't he? Let's just ring those veterans and make tons of money off my $100 million Netflix deal on veterans. Let's hang it all on the veterans. Classy, man. Real classy. Has their final chapter been written? Absolutely not. An insider executive tells People Hollywood loves a comeback. Well, even on their puff piece, we have to acknowledge they're down. They've been hit down, and they are. So here's how People is trying to clearly push a little bit. You can see at times People's has to put the truth out there, but they are using words and being very careful on how they address all of this. And even the headline, I got to be honest, under pressure, 3 years after leaving royal duty, after quitting, let's call it what it is. After quitting, the couple are struggling with unexpected challenges as they build their future in Hollywood. What's really happening and how they're coping with the strain. I'm guessing this was a little bit of People feeling the pressure themselves to write about the struggles, and Meghan and Harry's team realizing this is an opportunity to use People to our advantage. I think this was a mutually trying to be nice, and People definitely wrote this as a puff piece, absolutely, and took their quotes so they could have some quotes in here to defend themselves. But man, so there's two takeaways here. And I'm gonna have to look more into this more closely. We'll cover this over on Popcorn Palace as well. In fact, a new video just dropped on Popcorn Palace. They're hunting their enemies. They are. Beckham's and so much more. It's a fun video. Head on over to Popcorn Palace, as well as subscribe here. Subscribe to Steph, the Alter Nerd. Lots more coming. And I want to look more into the veteran because my 2 takeaways are this. 1, Harry's exploiting now veterans to continue to make money off of Netflix. This money's not going to the veteran funds. This money is going towards them and their security in their home. And it's all the pressure is on Heart of Invictus, Harry's veteran series. It'll be interesting to see how they shame us to support and watch his veteran series. The veteran's getting paid? Does anybody know? Let's look into it. The other takeaway is clearly this Archwell Spotify deal. They were given no formal lay of the land to kick things off, so they were already on unsteady footing even before the ink was dry. Man, they are throwing Spotify under the bus. They are just like, it's Spotify's fault. They didn't tell us how to make podcasts. Then don't make a podcast deal, you crazy. How is it their responsibility to hold your hand through every recording? My God, these two are impossible. And they wonder why we dislike it. Oh, but I'm biased and people's not biased. People's so biased in here and trying to play nice and not actually talk to the truth of where the frustrations are coming. Come on. You couldn't push back a little bit, people? Like, what kind of footing did you expect? Why would you agree to be with a company when you didn't know how to do it? And then why wouldn't you use said money to follow their instruction? Oh, right, because you didn't want to follow their instructions because you disagreed every step of the way. And we saw those Spotify people, the production executives, have come forward and thrown you under the bus, saying that there were tons of ideas and tons of things, and you guys refused to follow the lead because you know better. But no, Spotify didn't give them proper insight. My God, these two are deplorable. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. These two are impossible. And yes, they really are out there fighting back now. So head on over to the Popcorn Palace video. Check it out next. They are hunting their haters. Don't miss it. It's a doozy. I have some fun with this one. Make sure if you haven't already hit the subscribe, like I said, hit this. And we'll be back. If you're not following the Lizzo story, this Lizzo lawsuit is nuts. Check out my morning video. And we have Christopher Melcher coming up next to break down the actual legality of it all.